Imagine spending weeks researching the perfect chicken for your backyard flock. You watch videos, read articles, join online groups, and compare dozens of breeds. Again and again, one name keeps appearing: Black Australorp. People call it one of the greatest egg-laying chickens ever developed. Some even refer to it as the legendary chicken that helps set records for egg production. Friendly, productive, beautiful, and reliable, the Black Australorp seems to check every box for anyone interested in backyard chickens homesteading or building a self-sufficient homestead. So eventually you decide to buy some. You open your favorite online marketplace. Within minutes, you find dozens of listings. Every seller claims they have pure Black Australorps. The photographs look convincing. The descriptions sound professional. The prices vary, but they all promise the same thing: authentic Black Australorp chickens. You place your order. Months later, your birds mature. Then something strange happens. The body shape doesn't quite match what you expected. The feather coloration looks slightly off. Egg production isn't nearly as impressive as you were promised. Some birds display traits that seem completely inconsistent with the breed. And that's when the realization hits. The birds you bought may not be Black Australorps at all. Unfortunately, this scenario is becoming increasingly common across the poultry world. As demand for Black Australorps continues to rise, more and more buyers are unknowingly purchasing mixed breeds, poorly bred stock, or chickens that were never genuine Black Australorps in the first place. The scary part is that many buyers never discover the truth. They simply assume that what they purchase represents the breed. They never realize that the disappointing egg production, unusual appearance, or unexpected behavior may be the result of misrepresentation from the very beginning. Today, we're uncovering a problem that many experienced poultry keepers have been discussing for years. Why are so many Black Australorps sold online not what they claim to be? How can you identify a real Black Australorp? And most importantly, where can you actually find authentic birds that live up to the reputation that made this breed famous around the world? Before we answer those questions, we first need to understand why Black Australorps became one of the most sought-after chickens in the modern homesteading movement. To understand the obsession surrounding Black Australorps, we have to travel back nearly a century. The breed originated in Australia, where poultry breeders were searching for a chicken capable of producing large numbers of eggs while also maintaining excellent body size and overall hardiness. Using Orpington bloodlines as a foundation, breeders carefully selected birds that consistently demonstrated exceptional laying ability. What emerged was a remarkable chicken that quickly attracted attention. Unlike many specialized breeds that excelled in only one area, Black Australorps offered a rare combination of productivity, temperament, and adaptability. Farmers appreciated them. Families appreciated them. Commercial producers appreciated them. And over time, their reputation continued to grow. But one achievement elevated the breed into poultry history. You may have heard claims that Black Australorps are capable of producing 365 eggs per year. While many people repeat this number without understanding the story behind it, there is actually a historical reason why the breed became associated with extraordinary egg production. During egg-laying competitions held decades ago, Black Australorps achieved records that stunned poultry experts. These birds demonstrated an ability to produce remarkable numbers of eggs while maintaining good health and strong overall performance. The results attracted worldwide attention. Suddenly, poultry keepers everywhere want to know more about this incredible breed. Even today, many people searching for the best egg-laying chicken eventually discover Black Australorps because of these historic accomplishments. Of course, modern birds don't automatically lay an egg every single day of the year. Management, nutrition, genetics, climate, and breeding quality all influence production, but the reputation remains. When people think about reliable egg-laying hens, Black Australorps are often among the first breeds mentioned. Yet egg production alone doesn't explain the breed's popularity. Temperament plays a major role as well. Anyone who has raised difficult chickens understands how important personality can be. Aggressive birds create stress. Flighty birds become difficult to manage. Nervous birds often struggle to adapt to backyard environments. Black Australorps gain a reputation for being calm, friendly, and easy to handle. This made them especially attractive for families, first-time poultry keepers, and homesteaders who wanted productive birds without constant management challenges. For many people, the ideal chicken isn't simply the one that lays the most eggs. It's the one that integrates smoothly into everyday life. Black Australorps excel in that area. They generally tolerate confinement well. They adapt to free-ranging systems. They coexist peacefully with other flock members, and they often develop a calm demeanor that owners appreciate. As the homesteading movement expanded across the world, these traits became increasingly valuable. More people began pursuing backyard egg production. Families wanted greater food security. Rising grocery prices encouraged people to explore self-sufficiency. Social media platforms introduced millions of viewers to the concept of raising chickens at home. And whenever a particular breed receives widespread attention, demand inevitably follows. That's exactly what happened with Black Australorps. Videos praising their productivity generated millions of views. Homesteading channels featured them in flock tours. Blog articles highlighted their advantages. Forums filled with recommendations from satisfied owners. The breed became one of the most frequently suggested options for beginners. At first glance, this seems like a positive development. After all, greater popularity usually means more people benefiting from a quality breed. But popularity also creates opportunity, and not always the kind of opportunity buyers hope for. Whenever demand rises faster than supply, problems begin to emerge. Imagine you're a breeder with genuine Black Australorps. Your birds require time to mature. Eggs need incubation. Chicks need proper care. Building quality bloodlines takes years of careful selection. You cannot instantly produce thousands of birds simply because demand increased overnight. Meanwhile, buyers continue searching. They want birds now, not next season, not next year. Now, this creates pressure within the marketplace. Suddenly, sellers recognize an opportunity. Some remain honest, others do not. And that's where the problems begin. A seller may possess black chickens that resemble Australorps but lack proper breeding history. Another seller may own mixed birds carrying partial Australorp genetics. Someone else may simply use the name because it attracts more buyers. After all, many beginners have never seen a genuine Black Australorp in person. They rely entirely on photographs and descriptions. As long as the bird looks somewhat similar, the sale proceeds. Months later, the buyer discovers the truth. By then, the seller may be impossible to contact. This issue has become increasingly common in online marketplaces. Unlike purchasing directly from established breeders, buying through anonymous listings often provides limited information regarding lineage, breeding practices, or genetic quality. The buyer sees a picture. The buyer reads a description. The buyer takes a chance. Sometimes that chance works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Unfortunately, many newcomers don't realize how difficult breed identification can be. A young chicken rarely displays all the characteristics visible in mature birds. Feather development changes over time. Body structure evolves. Behavior becomes more apparent with age. What appears authentic at 8 weeks may look very different at 8 months. Experienced breeders understand this reality. Scammers often rely on buyers who do not. And because Black Australorps have become associated with exceptional egg production, demand remains strong enough to keep attracting questionable sellers. Perhaps the most concerning aspect of this problem is the effect it has on expectations. Imagine purchasing birds specifically because you heard they were among the best chicken for eggs. You expect strong production. You expect consistent performance. You expect the qualities that made the breed famous. But if your birds are not genuine Black Australorps, those expectations may never be met. When production falls short, many owners blame themselves. They assume they made management mistakes. They change feed programs. They modify housing. They search for solutions. What they don't realize is that the problem may have started long before the birds arrived. The genetics were never what they believed they were. And that brings us to a critical question. If fake Black Australorps are so common, how can you actually tell the difference? The answer isn't always obvious. In fact, some mixed birds can appear surprisingly convincing. But experienced poultry keepers know there are specific warning signs that often reveal whether a bird truly belongs to the breed. In the next part, we're going to examine those warning signs in detail. We'll uncover the characteristics that separate genuine Black Australorps from imposters, explore the mistakes that fool thousands of buyers every year, and reveal the traits that professional breeders look for when evaluating a bird's authenticity. Because once you know what to watch for, spotting a fake becomes much easier. And what you will learn next could save you from making a very expensive mistake. So how do experienced poultry keepers identify a genuine Black Australorp? The answer is surprisingly simple. They don't rely on a single characteristic. They look at the entire bird. Appearance, body structure, feather quality, temperament, productivity, and breeding history all work together to tell the story. A seller can manipulate a photograph. A seller can exaggerate a description. But over time, the bird itself reveals the truth. And that's why understanding the warning signs is one of the most valuable skills any chicken owner can develop. Let's begin with one of the most overlooked indicators: body shape. To a beginner, most black chickens look similar. If the feathers are black and the bird resembles the photos they've seen online, many buyers assume it's a Black Australorp. But experienced breeders immediately focus on structure. A real Black Australorp is a substantial bird. It carries itself with confidence. The body is deep and broad. The chest is full. The frame appears balanced and powerful rather than narrow or delicate. When viewed from the side, the bird should present a smooth, flowing profile. Many fake Black Australorps fail this test immediately. Some have bodies that appear too upright. Others seem excessively narrow. Some resemble light production, breeds more than a dual-purpose heritage chicken. At first glance, these differences may seem minor, but to someone familiar with the breed, they're often impossible to ignore. Then there's the feather sheen. This is one of the breed's most famous visual characteristics. Many people hear the term black chicken and imagine ordinary black feathers. A true Black Australorp is much more impressive than that. Under proper sunlight, the feathers should display a stunning green iridescent sheen. This shimmering green glow is one of the features that made the breed famous. When sunlight hits a healthy Black Australorp, the bird almost appears polished. The effect can be breathtaking. Unfortunately, many birds sold as Black Australorps lack this signature appearance. Their feathers may appear dull. The sheen may be weak. Some birds display coloration that simply doesn't match breed expectations. While feather quality can be influenced by health and nutrition, the absence of proper iridescence often raises concerns among experienced breeders. The next warning sign involves feather color itself. Many buyers assume that any black chicken qualifies as a Black Australorp. That assumption creates problems. As birds mature, genetic inconsistencies often begin to appear. Unexpected brown patches may develop. Red leakage can become visible. White feathers may emerge. Strange coloration patterns may appear in areas where they shouldn't. These issues don't automatically prove a bird is fake. However, they frequently indicate breeding problems or mixed ancestry. For serious breeders who work hard to preserve heritage chicken breeds, these details matter enormously, because every generation influences the future quality of the breed. Now, let's talk about comb structure. At first, this may seem insignificant. After all, most people focus on feathers and egg production, but breed standards exist for a reason. The comb is one of the many features breeders use to evaluate authenticity. A proper Black Australorp should display a single comb that is proportionate, balanced, and consistent with breed standards. When comb shape differs dramatically from expectations, questions naturally arise. Again, no single trait provides all the answers, but when multiple inconsistencies appear together, the picture becomes clearer. Perhaps the most disappointing warning sign involves egg production. After all, many buyers choose Black Australorp specifically because of their reputation as one of the best egg-laying chickens available. When production numbers fall significantly below expectations, owners become frustrated. The problem is that they often blame themselves first. They question their feed. They question their management. They question their housing. What they don't question is the bird itself. A genuine Black Australorp from quality breeding stock should demonstrate strong laying performance. Not every bird will break records. Not every hen will perform identically. But consistent underperformance can sometimes indicate that the genetics aren't what they were advertised to be. This becomes especially important when buyers are investing in backyard egg production as part of a larger self-sufficient homestead plan. A flock that produces fewer eggs than expected can impact food availability, budgeting, and long-term planning. Another clue often emerges through temperament. One reason Black Australorps remain popular among homesteaders is their reputation for calm behavior. They're often described as friendly, manageable, and adaptable. Many owners report that their birds interact comfortably with humans and integrate well within mixed flocks. When birds display unusually aggressive, nervous, or unpredictable behavior, experienced poultry keepers sometimes begin looking more closely at the genetics involved. Temperament isn't determined by breed alone. Management plays a role. Environment matters. Individual personalities vary. But behavior patterns often provide valuable clues when combined with other observations. Perhaps the most important warning sign of all has nothing to do with the bird itself. It involves the seller. Specifically, the seller's ability to verify breeding history. This is where many buyers get into trouble. Imagine asking a seller about the parents of a bird. Can they provide photographs? Can they explain their breeding program? Can they discuss the bloodlines? Can they show mature breeding stock? Can they answer detailed questions confidently? Or do they avoid specifics? Do they provide vague responses? Do they become defensive? Reputable breeders are usually proud of their work. They've invested years building quality flocks. They understand their birds. They welcome serious questions. A seller who cannot explain where their birds came from should immediately raise concerns. Because if the seller doesn't know the lineage, how can they guarantee authenticity? And that leads us to an even bigger issue. Many buyers place enormous trust in photographs. Unfortunately, photographs can be misleading. A beautiful image tells you very little about the bird standing behind the camera. Lighting can dramatically alter appearance. Angles can hide flaws. Editing software can enhance colors. Some dishonest sellers even use photographs that aren't their own. Imagine purchasing chicks based on images of championship quality birds. Months later, your birds mature and look nothing like the photographs. The reason may be simple. The birds in the advertisement were never the birds being sold. This is one reason experienced poultry keepers often prefer purchasing from established breeders rather than anonymous online listings. Relationships matter. Reputation matters. Accountability matters. A breeder who has spent years building trust within the poultry community has far more to lose than someone operating behind a temporary online profile. Unfortunately, scammers understand human psychology extremely well. They know what buyers want to hear. They know which phrases attract attention. Pure bloodline. Show quality. Champion stock. 365 eggs per year. Rare genetics. Limited availability. These claims generate excitement. And excitement often leads buyers to make rush decisions. The fear of missing out becomes powerful. A buyer sees a listing. The seller claims only a few birds remain available. The buyer worries about losing the opportunity. Questions that should have been asked never get asked. Research that should have been completed never gets completed. The purchase happens. The problems appear later. That's why experienced breeders encourage patience. A quality bird today is still a quality bird next month. A reputable breeder tomorrow is still worth buying from tomorrow. Rushing rarely improves outcomes. In fact, patience may be one of the most effective tools available to buyers. Because once emotion fades, logic returns. And logic asks better questions. Where did these birds come from? How long has this breeder been working with Black Australorps? What evidence supports their claims? What do previous customers say? Can they demonstrate consistent breeding quality? The more questions you ask, the harder it becomes for dishonest sellers to hide. But identifying fake birds is only half the battle. Knowing what to avoid is important. Knowing where to find genuine birds is even more important. Because despite all the misinformation and misrepresentation circulating online, authentic Black Australorps absolutely still exist. Dedicated breeders continue preserving quality bloodlines. Breed enthusiasts remain committed to maintaining standards. Poultry organizations still support responsible breeding programs. The challenge isn't finding real Black Australorps. The challenge is knowing where to look. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. In the final part, We'll reveal where experienced poultry keepers actually buy their birds, how to locate trustworthy Black Australorp breeders, why poultry shows may be one of the most valuable resources available, and the simple buying strategy that can dramatically increase your chances of bringing home genuine Black Australorps. Because once you know a professional shop, your odds of getting the real thing improve dramatically. So, where do experienced poultry keepers actually find genuine Black Australorps? The answer may surprise many beginners. It usually isn't through flashy advertisements. It isn't through listings filled with exaggerated promises. And it certainly isn't through sellers who seem more interested in making a quick sale than discussing the birds themselves. The people who consistently acquire high-quality Black Australorps tend to follow a very different approach. They focus on relationships, reputation, and proven breeding programs. And that starts with dedicated breeders. A true Black Australorp breeder is usually passionate about the breed itself. These are the people who spend years refining bloodlines, studying breed standards, improving flock quality, and preserving the characteristics that made Black Australorps famous in the first place. For them, breeding isn't simply about producing more birds. It's about protecting the future of the breed. When you speak with a dedicated breeder, the conversation often feels different immediately. Instead of rushing toward a sale, they discuss genetics. They discuss breeding goals. They discuss strengths and weaknesses within their flock. They ask questions about your setup and your goals. In many cases, they care just as much about where their birds are going as you care about where the birds came from. That level of commitment is difficult to fake. And it's one of the reasons dedicated breeders remain one of the safest sources for authentic Black Australorps. Another valuable resource is poultry breed clubs. Many beginners overlook these organizations entirely. That's a mistake. Breed clubs often consist of some of the most knowledgeable people in the poultry world. Their members are typically passionate about preserving breed standards and educating new poultry keepers. These communities provide access to information that can be difficult to find elsewhere. They know which breeders have strong reputations. They know which bloodlines are respected. They know which sellers consistently produce quality birds. Most importantly, they understand the difference between genuine Black Australorps and birds that merely resemble them. For someone serious about finding authentic stock, connecting with breed enthusiasts can save an enormous amount of time and frustration. Then there are poultry exhibitions and shows. This is where many experienced buyers gain an advantage. The internet can be helpful, but nothing compares to seeing birds in person. At a poultry show, you can evaluate body structure, feather quality, condition, temperament, and overall appearance with your own eyes. You can compare multiple birds side by side. You can speak directly with breeders. You can ask detailed questions. You can learn from people who have spent decades working with poultry. And, perhaps most importantly, you gain experience. The more genuine Black Australorps you see, the easier it becomes to recognize quality. Many newcomers underestimate how valuable this experience can be. Pictures provide information. Real-world observation provides understanding. The two are not the same. Reputable hatcheries can also be a useful option, although buyers should still perform careful research. Not all hatcheries operate at the same level. Some maintain strong breeding programs and prioritize quality. Others focus primarily on volume. Understanding the difference is critical. A trustworthy hatchery should have a long history of serving customers. They should provide detailed information about their birds. They should have established reputations within the poultry community. And they should be transparent regarding what buyers can realistically expect. If a hatchery makes extraordinary claims without evidence, caution is warranted. If customer feedback consistently raises concerns, caution is warranted. If questions are met with vague answers, caution is warranted. The goal isn't simply to find someone selling Black Australorps. The goal is to find someone committed to producing quality Black Australorps. There's an important distinction between those two things. Local homesteading communities can also be incredibly valuable. Many of the best opportunities never appear in public advertisements at all. Instead, they emerge through relationships. One homesteader knows a breeder. A breeder recommends another breeder. Someone mentions a reliable source during a local agricultural event. Before long, you gain access to networks that most casual buyers never discover. This is one reason experienced livestock owners often emphasize community. Good information travels through trusted circles, and within those circles, reputation matters. A breeder who consistently delivers healthy, productive birds earns respect. A seller who repeatedly disappoints buyers quickly develops a reputation as well. Word spreads. That's why building connections can be just as valuable as conducting research. Now let's address another question many prospective buyers ask. How does the Black Australorp compare to one of its most famous competitors, the Leghorn? This comparison appears frequently because both breeds are associated with egg production. At first glance, many people assume they're similar. In reality, they serve somewhat different purposes. Leghorns have earned a reputation for exceptional laying performance. They're efficient, they're productive, they're highly respected throughout the poultry industry. But many homesteaders still prefer Black Australorps. Why? Because homesteading often involves more than maximizing egg numbers. Temperament matters. Adaptability matters. Dual-purpose usefulness matters. Many families appreciate the calm nature of Black Australorps. Many appreciate their larger body size. Many appreciate their ability to fit comfortably within a backyard setting. The choice ultimately depends on individual goals. Someone focused entirely on maximizing egg production may prefer one option. Someone seeking a balanced combination of productivity, friendliness, and versatility may prefer another. Neither approach is inherently wrong. The important thing is understanding what you're buying. And that's exactly why authenticity matters. Because no matter how impressive a breed's reputation may be, that reputation only benefits you if the bird you're raising genuinely belongs to the breed. This brings us to a broader issue affecting many heritage chicken breeds today: preservation. The poultry world contains countless breeds developed through decades and sometimes centuries of careful breeding. Each breed possesses unique characteristics, unique strengths, unique histories. When breeding standards decline, those qualities can gradually disappear. This is why responsible breeders invest so much effort into maintaining quality bloodlines. They're not simply producing chickens. They're preserving genetic history. Every authentic Black Australorp represents years of dedication from breeders who refuse to compromise on quality. Every carefully maintained bloodline contributes to the future of the breed, and every informed buyer helps support those efforts. Unfortunately, uninformed purchasing decisions can have the opposite effect. When buyers prioritize low prices above everything else, questionable sellers gain an advantage. When authenticity becomes secondary, breeding standards suffer. When shortcuts become profitable, quality declines. The consequences may not be visible immediately, but over time, they become impossible to ignore. That's why education matters. An informed buyer is difficult to deceive. And that's exactly what we've been working toward throughout this video. Because the biggest mistake new chicken owners make isn't choosing the wrong breed. It isn't building the wrong coop. It isn't selecting the wrong feed. The biggest mistake is trusting appearances without verification. Many people assume that if a bird looks close enough, everything will work out. Unfortunately, livestock doesn't work that way. Genetics matter. Breeding matters. Lineage matters. The bird you purchase today will influence your experience for years. If you're building a backyard flock, those decisions affect future egg production. If you're creating a self-sufficient homestead, those decisions affect food security. If you're investing in breeding stock, those decisions affect future generations. A rushed purchase can create years of disappointment. A careful purchase can create years of success. And that's why patience remains one of the most valuable tools any buyer possesses. Take your time. Ask questions. Research breeders. Verify claims. Compare options. Trust evidence over marketing. The cheapest bird is not always the best value. The closest seller is not always the best source. And the most attractive advertisement is not always the most trustworthy. Remember this. A genuine Black Australorp doesn't become valuable because someone says it is. It becomes valuable because generations of careful breeding created a bird capable of earning that reputation. That's what you're really paying for. Not a label, not a photograph, not a sales pitch. You're paying for genetics, quality, and proven performance. And those things are worth protecting. As we close this discussion, let's return to the question, that started everything. Why are so many Black Australorps sold online fake? The answer is simple. Because demand is enormous. Because buyers often lack information. And because some sellers know exactly how to exploit that gap. But now you're different. Now you understand the warning signs. Now you know where experienced poultry keepers look. Now you know the questions that separate trustworthy breeders from questionable sellers. Most importantly, you know that finding genuine Black Australorps isn't about luck. It's about knowledge. And knowledge is one of the most powerful investments any livestock owner can make. If this video helped you avoid wasting money on fake Black Australorps, then imagine what else you could learn before making your next livestock investment. Every year, thousands of people lose money because they buy the wrong animals, trust the wrong sellers, or make decisions based on marketing instead of facts. Here at Herd and Harvest, we're changing that. This channel exists to help livestock owners, homesteaders, backyard farmers, and beginners make smarter decisions, avoid costly mistakes, and build successful operations with confidence. Whether you're raising chickens, goats, rabbits, sheep, cattle, or exploring new opportunities in animal agriculture, you'll find practical knowledge designed to help you succeed. So if you're serious about building a productive homestead, producing your own food, increasing your farm's profitability, and learning the truths that many sellers won't tell you, this is a channel for you. Subscribe to Herd and Harvest right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And join a growing community of people who are committed to raising better animals, making better investments, and creating a stronger future through livestock. Because the smartest farmers aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who never stop learning. And your journey is only beginning. Subscribe to Herd and Harvest today, and let's build something extraordinary together.